Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Misao, and yeah, it's been a while. I was going to upload this Sunday, but, well, I was tired, so, yeah, but I'm trying to get back on a better schedule after London. And actually, that's what I'm going to talk about today, along with some other things, and, yeah, so let's just get started. So first off, I'm just going to catch up on the old London excursion. You know, got there and unpacked, and after that, the next day I think we went to Kensington Palace. Pretty nice place. A bit too fancy for my taste. We got to see a bunch of a bunch of things, like learning about the where the kings and queens lived and stuff. We got to see Victoria's dollhouse and her childhood. All that was pretty cool. I was especially, curious about Queen Victoria. She was kind of, got to see a lot of her childhood and stuff, so I was kind of interested in that. Then after that, we got to see the changing of the guards at Buckingham. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, William wasn't, there or anything. Otherwise, I think, the British flag at the top there would be up. But, yeah, aside from that, changing of the guards is pretty cool. I don't know how often they do that, but it's still an interesting thing to see. And then there was, we gotta go see the Tower of London. That was fairly interesting. Not the most exciting thing in the world for me, as I'm someone who's not a big fan of all that stuff, but the torture, the stories of torture and stuff are interesting. There was the Crown Jewels exhibit. I don't remember. I think that was at another place, St. Paul's Cathedral, I think, or either St. Paul's Cathedral or the Tower of London. But anyways, Tower of London, it was interesting. Then after that was St. Paul's Cathedral. It around that area of London where you can see the Big Ben. Oh yeah, I just remembered. It was before St. Paul's Cathedral, or even before Tower of London or something. I don't really know when we went to any of those places, to be honest. I'm just putting them in random order. But yeah. So before all of that, it was the Eye of London, I think it's called, London Eye. This big was this big Ferris wheel that shows you the different parts of, that shows you a very good view of London. The view was nice. Personally, not a big fan of views and stuff, but I gotta admit the view was nice. My dad didn't go on because of his fear of heights, which, fair enough. From what I've heard, a lot of people, don't really go on it, so nothing to be embarrassed of if you don't want to go on the London Eye. Oh yeah. Then after that was St. Paul's Cathedral. Fancy place. Scenery was nice. So it's basically, from what I've heard, I think it's one of or the oldest structures in England, which is saying something because it's been around for a very long time. Way older than the US, way older than a lot of areas. We're talking ancient. So, yeah. So St. Paul's Cathedral was it's nice. You gotta see the tomb, or the grave of the unknown warrior, which pretty sure is someone who fought one of a war or something, and no one was able to recognize him. So it's pretty unfortunate, but at least he's able to be buried there for all to pay their respects. Rest in peace to that guy, by the way. I'm sure he was a good soldier. There was also a place for memorials to different poets like Shakespeare and stuff. And oh yeah, I'm going a bit off topic here, but speaking of Shakespeare, one of the many manga I got from London, and yes, manga, I was able to buy manga there. One of them is actually a modern English manga version of his most famous work, Romeo and Juliet. And I gotta tell you, that is probably one of the greatest love stories of all time. It has characters that, whilst flawed, you're able to enjoy and root for. Albeit Romeo was a bit weird, Juliet was a bit weird. All the characters were kind of weird in their own way, but you know, it also made them a lot more human. And it was a pretty sad ending. It was the type of ending that done well, yet it leaves you feeling empty and kind of sad at the end. Which, not in like a bad way, like it takes away from the story, but as in, it shows that the writer, author, whatever, did a good job at making an ending that's, you know, tragic in a way. It leaves you feeling lost and confused about the story. Because it didn't end with like with the heroes coming out like on top or anything, but you know, it had, you know, of course, I'm pretty sure everyone knows how the story ends because it's a very famous story, but I'll tell you that Romeo and Juliet end up offing themselves, and then like their fathers like reconcile after learning about the deaths, and Romeo's father states that he's going to build a statue of Juliet. Juliet's father says he's going to build a statue of Romeo. And then there's this other guy who says that there will have to be punishments for those who have caused the death or something. But that's where it ends. And that's kind of where I felt, you know, empty after the end of the story. It was a good story, and it left lasting effects on me because of how well written it was and just how beautiful the story is. But it left me feeling empty in a way, as I was unsatisfied with the fact that Romeo and Juliet, you know, didn't really get more. They were young lovers who died early, and they don't really have, they aren't really, you know, fulfilled. They don't really, you know, they aren't really able to get what they deserve. They deserve to live a happy life, and they were denied that, and that's what left me feeling unsatisfied. But again, not unsatisfied as in if a story was, you know, it ended badly, but as in unsatisfied as in I actually felt for the characters. That's how you can tell that Shakespeare was really good at what he did. But I rambled a lot about the story, but of course, back to St. Paul's Cathedral. Then there was like this place, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I remember now. It was, it was an exhibit for a lot of Queen Elizabeth's treasures or something. So we had to go up to this like tower area that left me feeling very, very anxious because of how high up it was. We got to see like a lot of like there was these like wooden mannequins, very old wooden mannequins. There was some other stuff. A lot of these relics dating back to like the first the first 1,000, like a really long time ago. Like we're talking like 1000 over here. But yeah, I gotta say the mannequins were kind of my favorite part though. They looked actually pretty cool. They were like very weird and creepy, and that's kind of what, you know, gets me, you know, feeling excited. That's been a weird way to put it, but you know what I mean. That was for the most notable stuff. Then we get to when I went to Paris, which I guess you could say is also something notable. But yeah, I took a train to Paris. The train was nice. Beats having to take a plane that's high up in the sky, makes the ears feel all oopsie doopsie. But yeah, Paris was nice. Got to see the Eiffel Tower. There was some nice restaurants and some restaurants that weren't the best, but overall, it wasn't the worst time in the world. Yeah, I remember they had there was an anime shop, but it was more like anime merchandise or something. I remember it had like playing cards of Pokemon and One Piece. There was also like like a room filled with like Sanrio stuffed animals. I recognized Batsumaru and Hello Kitty, of course, and Kurumi. There was also like a poster showing like the Disney princess, four of the Disney princesses as anime girls, so that's something. I remember it was Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Belle, and Tiana, I'm pretty sure. Or one of those I think was also Ariel. One of those. So I could be off on some of them, but whatever. But yeah, I guess that place was nice. Yeah, then after that was you know, that was kind of it for the trip. I mean, we didn't really do anything after we got back from Paris. It was more just chill for a bit. Oh, how could I forget? MJ the musical. At a really nice theater as well. We also had really good seats, but yeah. That show was really good. At first, I didn't really have too high expectations for it. But then I saw it and I was like, okay, yeah, I should have probably given this more of a chance because it's actually really good. She gave me a lot of inspiration for my music because I'm actually seeing it, you know, I'm actually seeing like the life of Michael Jackson through the lens of Michael Jackson. You know, really getting insight into music and all that stuff, his upbringing and stuff, and it's, I think, one of the important things of music is, you know, part of it is being able to like understand music itself and understand like the people who create music, and the best way to understand the people is, you know, by learning a lot about them, or like going to a show like MJ the Musical. And yeah, but I'm also kind of been inspired by that show to actually on my music channel I'll be covering 3 songs from the show, those being in this order, I'm pretty sure. First song I'm currently working on is They Don't Care About Us. It's a bit controversial, so I might have taken the liberty of changing the some of the lyrics to not get myself canceled, but I do hope this doesn't offend anyone, and I'm of course not trying to nullify, you know, the message that Michael was putting out there. After that is Smooth Criminal, you know, also a pretty good song. And who can forget the third and final song, Thriller. Man, they did so well with Thriller in the show. It's just mind-blowing. And of course, if you haven't ever seen the show before, then I definitely recommend going back to check it out yourself. And again, if you're, you know, not happy with the changes I made to They Don't Care About Us, and I'm truly sorry. I'll listen to the feedback if I get any, and if people like demanded, I'll make another version of the cover, you know, with the original lyrics unedited. Of course, I'm pretty sure Michael did put in one, you know, maybe Jewish slur in there that I probably just, you know, will have to never say. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's how I do things here. I don't want to offend people. I just don't want to get myself canceled. Yeah, but of course, that was kind of it for the London trip. And then when I came back, you know, I had, you know, a few nights after I came back or so, I had a dream. And I'm not talking about a dream of equality like Martin Luther King. I'm not talking about, you know, a dream of aspirations, but a dream that I had during my sleep that shows a random, you know, show of things playing in my head. So nothing really monumental there. But this brings us to a dream journal inside of Misao's comfy corner. I don't know if I said comfy corner at the beginning or not, so whatever. But yeah, so we're already going for a day here, and it's pretty late at night. It's like 12 or so. I should be going to bed soon, but whatever. Dream journal can't wait, even though it did. So yeah, the dream journal starts off, it's more like, you know, town where I live and stuff, and all of a sudden there's an earthquake happening. And so we hop in my family's car and we try to get out of there, but we don't, and we end up getting separated. But then I end up commandeering my mom's car in order to go and search for them, only to not be able to find them. We then go to the perspective of another character, that being Akito from Project Sekai, who's trying to save a man from being crushed under a building. But the man gets crushed and Akito just kneels very shocked. And then also that frame, that like image of your head ends up also being a card for some reason. I never see the trained version though, I just see the untrained. So that kind of sucks. But yeah. But then Toya and Kohane come along to try and help Akito up. For some reason I don't know where Anne is. She's just not there. And Kohane is shocked because the person who was crushed by the rubble ends up being her father, so that's pretty dark. But Toya ends up helping Akito up, and the two of them escape the situation, leaving Kohane behind for some reason. I don't know what happened to her. Yeah, and then Akito and Toya end up escaping. They find this like weird elevator in the woods, which brings them to like this weird tropical, beach area, or like away from the earthquake. And so they're safe. Before they got through the elevator doors were closing. Toya and Akito managed to get in there just in time, but in doing so, Toya ends up breaking the weird guitar thing that he was holding. So I guess that's why he couldn't save Kohane. Yeah. But the elevator ends up, of course, launching them to the tropical island, Vivere, or tropical area. I don't know if it's exactly an island or not. I'm pretty sure it's still connected to the landmass of my hometown. And so Akito and Toya are there, along with the character Masaru Daimon, I think that's how you say his name, from Danganronpa and other Altered Spirit Girls. And yes, I'm a pretty big fan of Danganronpa, so that's probably why he was in my dream. But anyways, the three of them were trying to survive, looking for any food sources. So Daimon ends up, I don't know if I should call him Daimon or Masaru. I don't know what's the surname and what's the other name. So I'll just call him Masaru. So Masaru ends up, and by the way, I'm sorry if this makes me sound like a total idiot. If you want to correct me, feel free to do so down below. So Masaru ends up jumping into the ocean in search of food, and seeing that it was dangerous, Toya jumps in after him, but he couldn't find Masaru, so Toya ends up just coming back to Akito, and yeah, that's kind of where it ends. Bit of a weird dream journal, if you ask me. We've got the Akito untrained. We've got what happened to Kohane, me, and my parents, and Anne because she was not in the dream at all. Also, what happened to Masaru? We don't know. And why was there an earthquake at all? Like I don't think I live near the equator, near the Ring of Fire, any of that. Well, equator I don't think has really anything to do with earthquakes. It's the Ring of Fire, as well as fault lines. I don't think I live near any fault lines. I'm pretty sure of that. So, yeah, if I had to guess, the earthquake occurred while I was in Europe. But, yeah. So, to end off this little Misa's Comfy Corner episode here, let's go into the one thing that has been present in all of them. Politics. So, recently there was like an interview with Trump on the news, and part of it was Trump's plan on one of the days coming up. I think it's Veterans Day or something. I don't remember, but it's on his birthday. He is going to be hosting a military parade, which includes the troops and military vehicles, I think, and possibly nuclear weapons. I don't really know. Probably not nuclear weapons. I mean, I think that's stupid. Maybe missiles will be there. I don't really know. But yeah, and they're gonna be marching and shit, and in my opinion, this feels very familiar to a specific thing that happens in dictatorship countries like North Korea and Germany. Not Germany, but that was a dictatorship at some point. We don't talk about that though. Oh yeah, and China, I think would count as a dictatorship. Pretty sure. But yeah, and Russia. So, what does this parade in the US have to do with all those dictatorship country parades? With the dick and dictatorship being DICK. Well, those parades do also, I'm pretty sure, take place on those dictators' birthdays. Like in China, it's Xi Jinping. And, I probably pronounced that wrong, so I'm sorry. But not really sorry, because I'm pretty sure that guy's also a dick. Yeah, and Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin and all that other stuff. Possibly Hitler as well. Pretty sure also Hitler as well. I mean, it makes sense. But, yeah, those parades in those countries are supposed to show pride and show, you know, how powerful this dictator guy is, even though he's just a coward hiding behind, soldiers and shit. So not really that powerful. And I'm pretty sure Trump is planning to do the same thing. This entire time he's been trying to play the dictator rule book, but yet he's been doing an insanely shit job at it. So my only guess is that this military parade will possibly blow up in his face as well. Not only that, but it will probably cost a good fortune to do this. So not too good for the economy, even though the economy's already not doing that good. Yeah, my country, as you can tell, is going to shit, and I'm just sitting here singing music, so I'm just gonna vibe with it, because I don't really care anymore, man, to be honest. I mean, I still do care, but like, I'm just over all of this right now, and it hasn't even been like a little over 100 days yet. Not even a year. I mean, it has been a little over 100 days, but you get what I mean. But I'm just, you know, going to ignore it all, to be honest. You know, just focus on my own mental health right now, because that's really all I can do. And I'll give you some words of encouragement. I guess that when things look tough, I don't know, just roll with it, you know. It's good to, I'm sure I've said this a lot already, you know, not just in this episode of Misao's Comfy Corner, but a lot of others. Just focus on yourself, man. I mean, it's not easy. I know that my words are kind of empty here, to be honest, but yeah, just focus on yourself. Maybe talk to a therapist, talk to people who, you know, you can trust and stuff like that, you know. If you don't really have any people you can trust, I'm sure you'll find someone someday. I mean, this world is smaller than you think. 8 billion people. You think about it, you could fit all of them in Texas, so I mean, Texas is fairly big, but you get what I mean. You know, I'm sure you'll find someone eventually. And yeah, that's kind of all I got. I'll definitely still be uploading Misao's Comfy Corner on Sunday. This is more just a late one from last Sunday. So yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now because I'm staying up way too late and I want to get on a better sleep schedule. You know, just so I can grow up and be a big boy. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you with this one, but I'll definitely try to get back on a better schedule, and there will definitely be a video coming out tomorrow. This one's more of another one of my mashups. I remember doing similar things like this with Friday Night Funkin' songs, and I did one with Samsa, but I took it down because I want to remake it. Yeah, that also reminds me, alongside Samsa, I've also took down the Samsa music video I made because it does use an AI cover, and the voice actors have said before that they do not like AI covers, and in my own defense, I didn't make that cover, so yeah, I want to respect the voice actor's wishes, especially my Fumia, because I'm pretty sure he's been the one who's been the most vocal about it. And also, I'm a big fan of Akito, if you couldn't tell from my my profile picture on this channel and my channel banner on my music channel. But yeah, I like Akito. He's cool. Probably the only one who's saying that, but whatever. I'm ranting a bit, but I'll definitely re-upload the Sansa music video with just the original Nightward version. And I will be remaking the Sansa mashup. You know, hope this time without the Akito AI. And I'm done with AI stuff. If I do, you know, create, you know. Okay, how do I say this so it doesn't sound like I'm an AI tech bro? But if I were to screen record an AI video on YouTube, then it's just so I can make, you know, a mashup or so featuring you know, the AI characters, not to be posted publicly, but just for myself. So I can pretend that, you know, my favorite characters are singing with my other favorite characters. I'm not an AI tech bro, I do not support AI. Yeah, anyways, this video might as well be a half hour long, so I'm just gonna end this here before I say things that make me feel like a little wussy. So bye-bye.